Alright fans, welcome back to the second half of tonight's RWL. I'm Don Hickson, joined by Christy Ogilvie and Myron Schimmelman. And the second half tonight, wow, what a lineup as you look at this schedule right here, Myron. You helped put it together.
I sure did. We're going to see the Yankee Rose, Georgia Washington. We're going to see the Doctors. Tag team action going up against Law and Disorder. And the Rage Ladies Tag Team titles being defended tonight by Les Femmes Fatales.
Yes, sir, that and a whole lot more, but up first.
Well, it is about time I started getting some recognition around here, but it's hard to ignore someone who beats China. Well, tonight, the Yankee Rose is set to face one of the greatest stars ever to come out of Japan. Manami Toyota is about to get chopped down like the cherry tree, and I cannot tell a lie. I'm gonna whip your ass and prove I'm better than they're giving me credit for.
Georgia Washington's had to have her tri-corner hat enlarged for her head since beating China in her last match. And so, she's about to try and double her success. One-on-one against Manami Toyota, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I think Miss Georgia is about to eat a little humble pie.
Well, sounds like fun. Let's see what happens.
Welcome back. The next ladies division match is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Approaching the ring from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, here is the Yankee Rose, Miss Georgia Washington.
Well, it is a fact, Georgia Washington, whose ego has increased by a pretty sizable margin, having defeated China in her last appearance, going up one-on-one tonight against Manami Toyota, one of the greatest stars Japan has ever produced. And I've got to be honest with you, Myron and Christy, I don't know if Georgia Washington's going to be able to handle this one.
I can't say for sure, because I definitely wasn't expecting her to beat China. But Manami Toyota's a whole different animal.
We've seen what ego can do to a wrestler plenty of times. And Georgia Washington has an ego the size of an Eastern European continent. I think she's maybe setting herself up for a pretty big fall against Manami Toyota.
At the risk of sounding cynical, she asked for it, Christy.
And her opponent, representing Japan 5-Star Wrestling from Tokyo, Japan, she's Manami Toyota.
A former multi-time Japan 5-Star Women's Champion. She's been a world champion almost everywhere Manami Toyota has ever competed. And she is one of the greatest stars ever produced from Japan. I don't know that Georgia Washington might not be in over her skis in this one.
I'm kind of betting on it. Georgia may have gotten lucky against China, but unless she really gives this match everything she's got, I think Manami is going to wear her down after a while, especially if the match runs long.
And the crowd here in Hershey, PA, in absolute awe of Japan 5 Stars Manami Toyota. And what a match this is set to be to open up the second half. And while Georgia Washington has dabbled, has competed in some championship caliber matches against some of our RWL Lady Stars, this promises to be an entirely different experience for the Yankee Rose. Referee Willie Johnson sounds the bell. The ladies come center ring. They lock up collar and elbow. Manami Toyota whips Georgia to the corner. Drop kick. As Georgia collapses out of the corner, Manami Toyota goes behind. Rear waistlock. German suplex. Georgia Washington gathered up to her feet again. Another kick from Manami Toyota takes her down yet again. Manami Toyota all the way up on the top turnbuckle. Here we go. Elbow drop right across the chest. And a quick cover. 1, 2. But a near fall only. With Georgia Washington powering out of the pin. Manami Toyota mocking Georgia Washington almost immediately. Georgia Washington rounded up by the trunk. Vertical suplex. Manami Toyota currently in possession of all the control here, all the momentum, putting her boot to the throat of the Yankee Rose. Wow. Manami Toyota biding her time, taking her time with this project here. Rounds up Georgia. Has her up again. A long vertical suplex, but no. Georgia Washington quickly counters, goes behind rear waist lock, and slams Manami Toyota's head to the canvas. Georgia rounds her up, dragon screw, and now with a leg snap. Georgia probably thinking to set her up for a figure four leg lock and a submission. A series of chops across the chest. She grabs the leg, takes her down, and another leg snap from Georgia Washington. The Yankee Rose going to work on the legs of Manami Toyota. Definitely has some sort of strategy in mind here, going for a quick cover. 1, 2, but only a 2. Barely just a 2 as well. Georgia Washington resumes, going back to work on Manami Toyota with a series of stomps and a driving knee into the head of the former Japan 5-star women's champion Georgia Washington, trying to rally support here in Hershey. And she may have some, but Manami Toyota is not going to give up quite that easily. Elbows to the midsection to Georgia Washington. Manami Toyota locks up Georgia. Escorts her towards the far corner, head first into the turnbuckle. Manami Toyota quickly countered by Georgia Washington, a kick to the midsection. And down she goes. She's setting her up for something nasty here, a submission, stretching the back. But Manami Toyota, with a series of shots to the head at a nearly impossible angle. Wow. Manami Toyota locks up Georgia. Hard Irish whip to the ropes. Duck under and a leapfrog. And whoa, beautiful Hurricane Rana from Manami Toyota. A drop kick that barely phases Georgia Washington. Georgia locks her up. Has her up. Whoa, nasty suplex from the Yankee Rose, followed with a kip up. Georgia Washington certainly trying to keep up with Manami Toyota here. They lock up. Toyota escorted towards the far corner, head first into the turnbuckle. Georgia rips the leg over the rope and a calf kick from the Yankee Rose. Georgia Washington with a series of chops across the chest. Manami Toyota quickly counters off the middle rope. Look at that beautiful cross body from Manami Toyota. Georgia Washington taken down into a headlock by Manami Toyota. Georgia Washington fights her way free, but not quite back to her feet just yet. Manami Toyota right there, a hard right, spins her around, rear waist lock, and a hard shot to the back, and another. Manami Toyota's got her up, rib breaker. Georgia Washington rapidly losing momentum here in this matchup as Manami Toyota really begins to assert herself. Drags Georgia Washington center ring, covers, hooks the leg. 1, 2, and yet another near fall with Georgia Washington getting the right shoulder up just in time. Back on her feet again, Manami Toyota right there. Oh man, what a shot across the head for Georgia Washington. Manami Toyota takes her down into the headlock center ring yet again, no ropes to get to. And Georgia Washington finds herself in trouble again, quickly escaping the hold. As Manami Toyota stalks the Yankee Rose here. There's a hard kick. And a Kinshasa, a boot right across the head of Georgia Washington. Manami Toyota rolls her over, goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3, and this one is all over. Manami Toyota defeats the Yankee Rose by pinfall.
Here's the time, 4 minutes and 42 seconds. And your winner, Manami Toyota.
Guys, I rarely, if ever, brag about having been right on a prediction on a match, but this one right here's got me feeling pretty good. My gut instincts told me Georgia didn't have any real shot against Manami Toyota. Man, being right never felt quite so satisfying.
That's pretty good, Christy. Fans, we will be back with more RWL Rage right after the break. We hope you're still here when we get back. Coming up next on Rage, Legends Division Tag Team action with Law and Disorder, the Big Boss Man and Bam Bam Bigelow joining forces to face the Doctors, Dr. D. David Schultz and Dr. Death, Steve Williams.
And let me tell you, Law and Disorder needs to win. The Boss Man's still reeling after that loss to Boston Con.
The next Legends Tag Team match, scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Coming down the aisle at a combined weight of 650 pounds, the Big Boss Man and Bam Bam Bigelow, Law and Disorder.
Indeed, the big boss man still recovering from the embarrassing loss to Boston Connor just a couple of weeks ago. And he and Bam Bam Bigelow could sure use a win here against Dr. D. David Schultz and Dr. Duff Steve Williams.
The embarrassment of the Boston Connor thing still making Boss Man extremely unpleasant to be around backstage is what I heard. And I sure hope these two don't run into anyone from the toxic table here tonight.
And their opponents. At a combined weight of 560 pounds, Dr. D. David Schultz and Dr. Death Steve Williams, the Doctors.
And it must be mentioned, one of these two teams will be facing Jerry the King Lawler and Harley Race for the Legends Tag Team titles at the Supercard on Monday, April the 28th.
And the Doctors definitely want it to be them. They have no interest in letting Law and Disorder get that title shot.
At the same time, Law and Disorder can definitely use a timely win right about now, couldn't they?
It's theirs to get if they can get it.
And it should be pointed out, Dr. D. David Schultz and Dr. Death Steve Williams are indeed heavily favored to win this match against Law and Disorder.
And that's because Law and Disorder hasn't done too well for themselves lately.
Well, here we've got two tag teams very hungry for a win. It's going to be Bam Bam Bigelow, the Beast of the East, and Dr. D. David Schultz. Starting off this tag team match, Walt Rothburn sounds the bell. They come center ring, hard right forearm from Dr. D. David Schultz. And get a look at this, a mandible claw from Dr. D. David Schultz. Takes down Bam Bam Bigelow. Bigelow counters with a clothesline, takes Schultz down. And look at this, whoa, what a headbutt from Bam Bam Bigelow. Dr. D. David Schultz counters with another forearm. Rounds up Bam Bam, slams a knee into the back, and follows it up with a Russian leg sweep. Nice combination move from Dr. D. David Schultz. Schultz tags in Dr. Death Steve Williams, delivers him Bam Bam Bigelow. Oh my, look at this, taking a little walk on a very uncomfortable Bam Bam Bigelow. Bigelow countered by Steve Williams into a DDT. Dr. Death rounds up Bam Bam Bigelow into a dragon sleeper. Grabs the leg dragon screw, right back down to the canvas, goes Bigelow. Schultz, watching as Dr. Death Steve Williams drives elbows into the side of the head of Bam Bam Bigelow. And here he comes, Dr. D. David Schultz tagged in. This team working very efficiently together. Schultz, whip to the far corner, running splash from Bam Bam takes Schultz down. Dr. D. David Schultz counters, takes down Bam Bam Bigelow, follows it up with a stomp. Bigelow has him up in a power bomb. Whoa! Schultz countered it into a DDT. Pretty impressive. Dr. D. David Schultz whips Bigelow to his team's corner. Here comes Steve Williams on the tag. Here comes a double team from the Doctors. Drop toe hold and an elbow across the back for Bam Bam Bigelow. Bigelow counters with an arm drag. Steve Williams back on his feet, a hard right. A kick, a clubbing overhand right to the back. Steve Williams setting him up here. Oh, low stomp to the lower abdomen. Steve Williams countered by Bam Bam, shoulder tackle, takes him down. And Bam Bigelow whips Schultz into his team's corner, fails to connect with the splash. Steve Williams just a step too fast. Steve Williams escorts Bam Bam to his team's corner, but Bam Bam Bigelow would rather not go. Delivers a couple of elbows to make the point. Whoa, double shot across the shoulders. He's got him up, hangs him up the top rope the hard way. Bam Bam Bigelow taking down Dr. Death. Following it up with another stomp to the midsection, and another. Now into a rear chin lock on Dr. Death. Steve Williams quickly counters. Whips Bam Bam back to the Doctor's corner. Bam Bam counters, escapes the corner. Counter whips Steve Williams to his team's corner. And here comes the big boss man on the deck, kick to the midsection from the boss man to Steve Williams. Williams up over the shoulder, but quickly counters it into a DDT on the big boss man. Dr. Death Rounds the boss man up to... Whoa! Clubbing double axe handle across the head of the big boss man. Steve Williams taking himself another little walk, this time on the big boss man. Hard kick to the back. And right now, the big boss man looking like he's at a big-time disadvantage as he is whipped to the doctor's corner. Whoa! He was trying for a spear. Steve Williams tried for the spear, but boss man countered it into a DDT. That was quick. Steve Williams rounds up the big boss man. Beautiful suplex from Steve Williams. Dr. Death rounds him up again. Whips the boss man into his team corner, and here we go. It's gonna be a boot party with the big boss man as the guest of dishonor. Schultz and Williams line tagging, taking turns, planting boots into the chest and midsection of the big boss man. And here comes the coup de grace. Basement dropkick from Dr. D. David Schultz. Rolls boss man out center ring. Schultz rolls him over, goes for the cover. 1, 2, but just a 2. Only a near fall. Big boss man still too efficient. Schultz countered by the big boss man. Schultz taken up and taken right back down. The big boss man gathers him up again. A chop across the chest. Has him. Oh, what a spine buster from the big boss man. Boss man stalking Dr. D. David Schultz here. And there's the boss man slam. That beautiful spinning one-arm slam. Boss man covers and hooks the leg. 1, 2, but only a 2. Dr. D. David Schultz getting the shoulder up. Oh, look at this. The big boss man starting to really feel it right about now. Has him up. Whoa! High elevation backbreaker right there from the boss man. Schultz rounded up again. Schultz counters with a beautiful right. Whips the boss man to the doctor's corner. Steve Williams trying to exhort these fans to support him. Boss man whips. Oh, well, there goes Walt Rothburn. We've lost him for some time. Dr. D. David Schultz tries for the inverted DDT. Boss man counters. Turns it into a vertical suplex. The referee back with us now. The boss man countered by Dr. D. David Schultz. Schultz has him by the throat. Look at this. One arm slam bar the throat and squeezing. Well, Schultz rounds up the boss man. Whips him to the doctor's corner. Schultz setting up the big boss man for a nasty fall. A top rope superplex. Boss man up on that middle rope. Schultz all the way up on the top turnbuckle, and here it goes. Oh, wow. My goodness. Boss man definitely caught all of that one. Even Schultz catching a little piece of it himself. Dr. D. David Schultz rounds up the big boss man. Boss man counters with a headbutt, backs off Schultz. Schultz rounds him up just the same. Trying to make up in his mind what he's going to do with him, but boss man says you're not doing anything. Elbows to the midsection. Backs off Schultz. The referee continuing to count here. Hard shot to the midsection from Schultz and a running headbutt that takes boss man right back down. Oh my. Dr. D. David Schultz certainly fired up right here. Boss man counters a couple of rights. Schultz counters with another forearm and another right. Boss man counters with a couple of elbows. Schultz counters with another forearm. What a battle we got going here as the referee continues to count. Boss man slams Schultz's head right into the apron. Should have thought about getting him back inside the ring. Bangs his head into the apron again and again. The big boss man, extremely relentless here at the expense of Dr. D. David Schultz. Schultz spun around into the apron yet again. The boss man battering the head of Dr. D. David Schultz against the apron. Oh, and into the ring post as well. Oh, well, Schultz might be busted open after that one. The boss man rolls himself back inside the ring. Dr. D. David Schultz is out cold with a count at 18. 19, boss man practically celebrating the win right now. And 20, that is it. Law and Disorder winning this match by countout. Let's get the official word from Aria Mitchell.
At 8 minutes and 36 seconds, the referee has counted out David Schultz. Your winners by count out, Law and Disorder.
Freddie Blassie sometimes says, it doesn't matter how you win, just as long as you do. That kind of applies here. Law and Disorder, meeting this win, getting it by a count out. And this puts Law and Disorder on a collision course with the two kings on the 28th for the Legends Tag titles, and I'm sure Bam Bam and Boss Man are happy to have wrapped this one up neatly and haven't taken only moderate damage.
Not taking too much of a beating before a title match is always a good thing.
It most certainly is. Bam Bam Bigelow and the Big Boss Man picking up a much-needed count-out win over the Doctors, and we'll be back with more RWL Rage right after this. Alright fans, coming up next on RWL Rage, the RWL Rage Ladies Tag Team Championships on the line as Goddess Mimi Emerson and Jet Williams, Les Femmes Fatales, along with Dynamite Jeannie Parker at ringside, defend the titles from the UK ladies, Grace Fenwick and Jessica Goldman.
Oh, and here we go. It's what Hangman Tex Lynch always refers to as Christmas time.
By virtue of the fact that this particular version of God Save the Queen used by the UK ladies seems to remind him of the holiday season for some reason. But Grace Fenwick and Jessica Goldman, music notwithstanding, won their last matchup, and by virtue of that will be facing Jet Williams and Mimi Emerson for the Rage Ladies Tag Team Championships, and this is a huge opportunity for the UK ladies.
Normally, I don't worry too much when Les Femmes have to defend the Rage Ladies tags, but these two heifers like to fight dirty, and with the belts on the line, they will, and I think that might be a problem for Jet and Mimi.
I hate to admit it, but Tex is right. It does kind of sound like Christmas.
Oh, not you too, Myron, for God's sake. Well, fans, here in Hershey, coming alive for Les Femmes Fatales, Jet Williams, Mimi Emerson, and Dynamite Jeannie Parker. All three of them dual champions, and together, the RWL Ladies Tag Trio Champions. RWL Rage Ladies Tag Champions, Jet and Mimi, and the Women's World Champion, Dynamite Jeannie Parker. And these three ladies have been extremely dominant here on RWL Rage.
Well, with Jeannie's latest title defense against Sherry Roy behind her now, great win by the way, she can focus her full attention on Jet and Mimi in this tag title match, and I'm sure she's gonna be keeping an eye on Grace Fenwick and Jessica Goldman.
With or without the titles on the line, she'd be a fool not to watch them.
Jeannie Dynamite, Jet Williams, and Goddess Mimi Emerson. Dual champions, and definitely the dominant three ladies within RWL Rage, welcoming the fans here in Hershey, and the fans welcoming them right back.
I'm telling y'all, I don't trust the UK ladies to play this one straight. I just know they're gonna try something underhanded.
The following ladies tag team match is scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. It's for the RWL Rage Ladies Tag Championships. The challengers from Sussex, England, Grace Fenwick, and from Brisbane, Australia, Jessica Goldman. The UK ladies. Their opponents accompanied by Women's World Champion Dynamite Jeannie Parker, from Washington, D.C., Jet Williams, and from Raleigh, North Carolina, Goddess Mimi Emerson. The RWL Rage Ladies Tag Team Champions, Les Femmes Fatales.
Well, to date, Jeannie and Mimi have faced off against Power and Beauty, the Texan Ladies Association, Pretty Poison, but this is their first dust-up with the UK ladies. Looking forward to seeing how this turns out.
It's a title match that's got all our attention, Myron. It's going to be Grace Fenwick and Jet Williams starting us off. In this ladies tag team title matchup, Willie Johnson sounds the bell. They come center ring. Jet Williams with an immediate right stuns Grace Fenwick. Grace Fenwick counters with a kick, misses with a spinning back fist, catches a right from Jet Williams. Jet Williams countered with a kick. Grace Fenwick off the rope, flying kick, takes down Jet Williams. Grace locks her up, whips Jet to the far corner, draws a knee into the chest, follows it up with a couple of boots to the face. Oh my! Putting those boots to the face of Jet Williams, rebounds off the ropes, and one more good stomp across the head from Grace Fenwick. The sadistic Grace Fenwick. Biding her time, waiting for Jet to get to her feet. Here we go. Whoa, another driving kick right to the chest. Jet Williams counters with a kick to the midsection, locks up. Grace Fenwick whips her to the ropes. Grace puts on the brakes. Jet Williams misses with the spear. Grace Fenwick tags her with a forearm and takes her down. Grace Fenwick rounds up Jet Williams, locks her up. A series of kicks to the chest and right back down goes Jet Williams. Hard left hands being rained down upon the head, followed up with a stomp to the midsection as Grace Fenwick steps out. Here comes Jessica Goldman. And Jet Williams in some serious trouble here. Again, the Rage Ladies Tag titles on the line. A driving knee misses by Jessica Goldman. Jessica Goldman tags out, tags Grace Fenwick back in. Jet Williams back up on her feet. A rebound off the ropes, a flying punch. Takes Jet Williams right back down to the canvas. Grace covers one and only a one. Grace Fenwick tags out, tags in Jessica Goldman. The tagging working very efficiently for the UK ladies. Jet Williams whips Goldman to the ropes. Ducks under. Leapfrogs it. Here we go. Winds it. Whoa, what a beautiful wraparound neckbreaker. Jet Williams covers one. But no, Jessica Goldman powered out and Grace Fenwick was there for the rescue. Everybody in the ring now. Mimi Emerson whips Grace Fenwick out onto the floor. A kick to the chest for Jessica Goldman from Jet Williams. A stomp to the midsection and another. Jet Williams follows it up with a stomp to the back of the head. Jessica Goldman counters. Look at this. Grace Fenwick and Mimi Emerson going at it on the outside. Mimi raining right hands on Grace Fenwick. My goodness. Here we go. Taken down Jessica Goldman into a submission. She's stretching, reaching for the ropes, but she's going to have to power her own way out, and she sure does. A set of hard right hands to the head of Jet Williams. Jessica Goldman with a running kick. Takes Jet down. Jet rolls out onto the floor. Jessica Goldman takes herself all the way up to the top rope. And here she goes. Misses. Jet Williams stepping out of the way deftly just in time. And look at this. What an elaborate leg snap right there from Jet Williams. Grace Fenwick finally making her way back to her tag corner, I suspect. Oh, no, look at this. She's going to get involved directly. Goes after Jet Williams. You weren't kidding. They're going to try something underhanded. They sure have. Jet Williams tags out. Here comes Goddess Mimi Emerson. And here comes Grace Fenwick on the tag. Fresh partners all the way around. Off the ropes, Mimi nails her with a forearm. Grace Fenwick taken down. Grace back up on her feet. Hard right spins Grace Fenwick around. Look at this. Mimi Emerson into a sleeper hold on Grace Fenwick. Jessica Goldman nowhere to make the save. But here's a jawbreaker that backs Mimi off. Grace Fenwick back up on her feet. Charges, rebounds off the ropes, flying forearm that takes Mimi down to the canvas. Grace covers one, but no, barely just a one. Mimi Emerson counters with a kick to the head. Moves in, locks up Grace Fenwick. Kaboom! Knee to the skull. Down goes Grace. Mimi covers 1, 2, 3, and that is it. Les Femmes Fatales retaining the Rage Ladies Tag Team titles over the UK Ladies by pinfall.
Here's the time, 4 minutes and 21 seconds. Your winners, and still, Rage Ladies Tag Team Champions, Jet Williams, Mimi Emerson, Les Femmes Fatales.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that to be over quite so fast.
Me neither.
Mimi sure put out Grace Fenwick's lights with that knee smash. She didn't even try to power out, cause Mimi Emerson put her to sleep, and Jessica wasn't around to make the save. Cause she got taken out by Jet Williams. Very efficient work to retain the titles.
Extremely efficient work. Mimi Emerson indeed putting the lights out for Grace Fenwick. Our main event when we return from the break. Stay with us. Alright fans, tonight's RWL Rage main event, something a little bit on the extra special side, a 6-man tag team matchup involving the No Rules champion, the Icon, the Legend Magic, backed up by Mad Dog X, the Black Sinister of the X Clan, facing all 3 members of Best of the West in a 6-man tag.
And it's rare because Jim Dandy Deacons is actually working twice tonight.
Tonight's Rage main event is a 6-man tag team match scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Approaching the ring from Newark, New Jersey, weighing 320 pounds, he's the RWL No Rules champion, the icon, the legend, Magic.
Alright, so we got 2 3-man teams, each team with one champion as their captain. This is going to be, we don't do this very often, so it's definitely going to be a treat.
It really is the kind of special attraction we usually only get to see during a supercard, and it's 2 teams that aren't strangers, but not so familiar that they can still surprise one another. Salute, Myron. Nice main event, hun.
Well, thank you very much, Chris.
His partners, from Newark, New Jersey, and over 420 years of oppression, at a combined weight of 465 pounds, Mad Dog X, and the Black Sinister, the X-Clan.
Magic and the X-Clan, no strangers to one another. They have worked together for many, many years, and because of it, they work very well together. Going to prove a real challenge for Best of the West.
It's true, Don. Those 3 have worked together for a long time, and because of it, they're real simpatico. But Best of the West, they're a very efficient tag team, too.
Mad Dog X and the Black Sinister, at times often providing backup for the icon, the legend, Magic, the No Rules champion. And in this instance this evening, all 3 together in this 6-man tag team matchup against Best of the West. Wow, this is going to be great.
Their opponents, at a combined weight of 764 pounds, from San Antonio, Texas. The Lone Star Superstar, Tex McKenzie, from Houston, Texas, Jim Dandy Deacons, and from Norman, Oklahoma, the RWL Mid-South champion Billy White Moon, Best of the West.
I'm pretty sure what most of you are thinking. You're going, well, how did all this come about? It's very easy. You saw Jim Dandy in the opening contest tonight. But when we were putting the show together, Jim says, I'd like to be in the 6-man tag at the end, at the main event. I'm like, are you sure you want to do that? He says, look, if the Vandal brothers can wrestle 2 matches in one night and win, why the hell can't I? I can't argue with logic like that, so here we are.
Jim Dandy Deacons, without question, a man without fear. And he will be starting off against Magic in this 6-man tag as Walt Rothburn sounds the bell, and here we go. Magic sets him up. Jim Dandy catches a chicken wing suplex from the icon. Jim Dandy on the outside. Caught between Magic and members of the X-Clan. Whoa, what a wind-up punch from Jim Dandy Deacons. Magic stopped cold. Jim Dandy nails him. And here we go. The Black Sinister from behind catches a kick to the midsection. Sinister counters. Strikes again. Knocks him back with a hard punch. The Black Sinister really laying into Jim Dandy Deacons on the outside with the referee counting. And look at this right here. Whoa! Wow. Right there on the floor. Magic resuming control of Jim Dandy Deacons. Jim Dandy counters with a right. Lines up the arm. Magic counters again. Magic counters yet again. And now a headbutt. It takes Jim Dandy down to the canvas. And we are inching further and further away from the ring as the referee continues to count. Whoa! Driving knee from Jim Dandy Deacons. Deacons rounds up Magic. Magic counters with a shoulder tackle that takes Deacons down. Follows it up with a stomp to the midsection. And whoa! What a suplex right there from the icon, who makes his way back to the ring as the referee continues to count Jim Dandy Deacons. And here's a tag. Mad Dog X coming in on the tag. Mad Dog X of the X-Clan takes himself to the corner. Afford to do a little showboating here while Jim Dandy Deacons slowly makes his way back to his feet and back inside the ring. Mad Dog X whipped to the corner of Best of the West. Counters and escapes the corner. Mad Dog X catches a couple of elbows from Jim Dandy. Jim countered again by Mad Dog X. A hard right. A clothesline that takes Jim Dandy down into his own team's corner. A sit-out slam out of the corner from Mad Dog X. Rolling back to his feet, Jim Dandy Deacons quickly making the tag to Billy White Moon, and we're going to see some action here. There's a knee to the midsection. There's a second one, and a third just like that. Mad Dog X laid out on the canvas as Billy White Moon delivers a stomp to the midsection. Winds up the arms of Mad Dog X. Throws the switch double arm snap for Mad Dog X. Billy White Moon countered Mad Dog X with a Hurricane Rana on the Mid-South champion, followed up with a stomp to the chest. White Moon forced into his own corner. Mad Dog X whips him to the X-Plan corner, and there goes our referee again. Billy White Moon counters and escapes the corner. Has Mad Dog X side suplex, and down goes Mad Dog X. Billy White Moon, not giving him any breathing room, stands him back up. Oh, quick counter and a quick kick from Mad Dog X. They tussle. White Moon shoves down Mad Dog X. Gathers him back up. Whoa, a kick right to the head. And here's that wind-up punch. Down goes Mad Dog X. Uh-oh, look at this right here. Billy White Moon, Tex McKenzie, and Jim Dandy Deacons gonna take Mad Dog X for a triple power bomb ride right here. And look at this book. Kaboom! And that is it. Whoa, Mad Dog X is laid out. Billy White Moon goes for the cover. But look at this. The Black Sinister there to break up the pin. Tex McKenzie countered by the Black Sinister. Sinister goes to work on Tex McKenzie. Mad Dog X laid out center ring. Billy White Moon decides to pitch in here with a little bit of help. Mad Dog X still now just coming back to his feet. Kick to the midsection for White Moon. Another, and a DDT from Mad Dog X. Whoa, a jumping neckbreaker on Magic from Tex McKenzie. This one got chaotic, hot, quick, and in a hurry. Flip over neck whip from Mad Dog X. Billy White Moon laid out in the center of the ring. Followed up with a stomp to the leg. Mad Dog X gathering up Billy White Moon. Whips the Mid-South champion to his team's corner, but whoa, Billy White Moon just a step too fast. White Moon whips Mad Dog X to the Best of the West corner. And oh my, here we go. Someone's in big trouble. A Best of the West boot party has been engaged. Jim Dandy Deacons taking his turn. And here's Tex McKenzie putting those big old cowboy boots to the chest of Mad Dog X. And here's Billy White Moon one more time. Wow, this is a rough one. And here's Jim Dandy Deacons one more time, and here's the big finish. The whip, the basement dropkick. Out comes Mad Dog X center ring. Billy White Moon stepping out. Jim Dandy Deacons taking over here. And as he is taken down, Mad Dog X tags in the Icon Magic. And Magic begins to move in on Jim Dandy with a stomp to the chest. Driven back into his own corner. But a blind tag from Billy White Moon. Would you look at this right here, Magic. Not wasting any time. Side suplex to Billy White Moon. Jim Dandy counters with a kick, takes himself out of the equation as Magic resumes work on Billy White Moon. Billy White Moon with a back body drop on the big man. White Moon taken down with a leg sweep by Magic. Magic rounds up White Moon again, kick to the midsection. And here it comes. Oh, he was trying for the DDT, but Billy White Moon would rather not. A couple of hard shots to the midsection. And Magic pitched to Best of the West corner. And here's another tag. Jim Dandy Deacons taking over here. And here's a double team from Best of the West. Look at this. Double knees right into the back of the Icon Magic. The No Rules champion having his share of problems here. A shoulder tackle from Jim Dandy. A series of stomps to the chest. And the No Rules champion definitely having his problems since he tagged in. Jim Dandy Deacons steps out. Here comes the Lone Star Superstar, Tex McKenzie. The biggest man on the Best of the West team. Knee to the midsection, lays him out. Magic rounds him back up. Tex McKenzie counters with a forearm, backs Magic up. Magic says, hang on a minute. No, you don't. Tex McKenzie counters with a right. And a forearm that takes Magic down to the mat. Magic back up on his feet pretty quickly. Tex McKenzie tags him with beauty, whips him to the corner. Clothesline, down goes the Icon. Tex McKenzie with a flip over neck whip on Magic, followed up with a stomp and another. And now Tex McKenzie, the Lone Star Superstar, tags Magic, another short shot, turns him around, neck breaker drop. And Magic looking for the way out of town here, looking to attack one of the two members of the X-Clan. Whoa, look at this. A series of hard rights. And Magic, whoa, he just went down like a chopped down tree. The Lone Star Superstar Tex McKenzie strutting and bobbing like a pigeon. And Magic is absolutely motionless. Tex McKenzie quickly countered by Magic, making his way back up to his feet. He may have been playing possum. Oh, here we go. A series of kicks from Tex McKenzie. Down goes Magic again. Magic right back up on his feet. Rounds up the big Texan, up over the shoulders, and into a torture rack. A possible submission here. Is he going to get Tex McKenzie to tap out? Referee Walt Rothburn checking, but no, Tex McKenzie. Couple of hard right hands. The Lone Star Superstar separates himself a clothesline, takes Magic down. Followed up with a stomp to the head. Tex McKenzie gathers Magic back up. Hard Irish whip into the far corner, misses with the clothesline. Magic has him up, and whoa, what? Oh man, did you see that? Hard overhand right. Takes Magic down again. Tex McKenzie drives the knee into the canvas. Lone Star Superstar currently in control of the No Rules champion. Really going to work on him on the canvas. McKenzie rounds Magic up again. Hard whip towards best of the West corner. Magic counters and escapes. Magic whip. Oh, there goes the referee again. Unbelievable. These guys need hazardous duty pay. Tex McKenzie whip to the ropes. Black Sinister and Magic with a double team as Black Sinister takes over the match. Whipped into the best of the West corner. Counters with a kick. Black Sinister catches a kick to the leg. Tex McKenzie spins him around. Whips him back into the best of the West corner. Again, Black Sinister countered. Tex McKenzie counters. Jawbreaker. Off the rope. Whoa, did you see that beautiful spinning shoulder? Tex McKenzie quickly tagging in Jim Dandy Deacons. Jim Dandy with a beautiful uppercut. Black Sinister whips him to his team's corner. Jim Dandy counters and escapes. And a counter Irish whip puts Black Sinister right back in the best of the West corner, but he counters and escapes it yet again. Now whipping Jim Dandy Deacons to his team's corner, and a drop kick. Jim Dandy Deacons still up, whips him back into the corner. Black Sinister counters again, look at this. Mad Dog X trying to intervene, referee telling him, oh no you don't. Black Sinister drives the shoulder into the midsection, up over the rope, and whoa, a rolling powerbomb to Jim Dandy Deacons, puts him on the outside hard. And here's another whip. Jim Dandy Deacons rolls back inside the ring, quickly back up on his feet. Here comes. A Black Sinister whips back into the corner again, counters and escapes. Swing and a miss, a chop across the chest. And look at this, a roll up and a kick to the side of the head. Down goes Jim Dandy Deacons, and oh, here we go, Black Sinister. Magic and Mad Dog X paying back the best of the West with a triple powerbomb to Jim Dandy Deacons, and oh no, oh man, a devastating triple powerbomb from Magic and the X-Clan. Sinister covers 1, 2. Jim Dandy powering out. Tex McKenzie taken down by Magic. Magic winds up Tex McKenzie. Tex McKenzie countering the lock with a couple of hard shots in the midsection. Black Sinister. The arm wound up by Jim Dandy. Jim Dandy catches a couple of kicks to the leg. Black Sinister charges. Fireman's carry from Jim Dandy Deacons. Jim Dandy countered by Black Sinister. And the running kick that takes him down. Stomp to the midsection. Jim Dandy Deacons suddenly finding himself in some problems here. Beautiful moonsault from the Black Sinister, followed up with a stomp to the back. Jim Dandy Deacons counters and whips him into the far corner. Here we go. Look at this. Another quick counter from the Black Sinister. The X-Clan extremely fast. Look at this off the top rope. And a Hurricane Rana takes Jim Dandy Deacons down to the canvas. The Black Sinister moves back in. Rounds up Deacons. Hard whip to the corner. And here we go. Black Sinister planning something. Moves in. Countered by Jim Dandy Deacons. Deacons whips Black Sinister to the bust of the West corner. But Sinister again counters on another Hurricane Rana. Takes Jim Dandy Deacons down to the mat. What an intense ride this six-man tag team match has been so far. Black Sinister rounds up Jim Dandy, countered with an elbow to the midsection. Deacons countered, a kick to the leg. Black Sinister with a crucifix. Wow. Unbelievable. What a ride this one's been so far. Absolutely amazing. Black Sinister rounds up Jim Dandy Deacons, whips him to his team corner. Jim Dandy counters and escapes the corner, and counter whips again the Black Sinister to the bust of the West corner. And again the Black Sinister counters, escapes the corner, and there goes our referee again. Unbelievable. Jim Dandy Deacons on the wrong side of town here. Guillotine leg drop from the Black Sinister on Jim Dandy. Sinister all the way up on the top rope. Here he goes. Elbow misses the mark. With Jim Dandy Deacons stepping just out of the way. He's got him up. Atomic drop. Right into the tailbone. Deacons countered. Black Sinister. Hard forearm. And another Hurricane Rana taking Jim Dandy Deacons right back down to the canvas again. Quickly back up on his feet. And quickly whipped back into the opposing team's corner. A cheap shot from Mad Dog X puts him down. And Jim Dandy Deacons is laid out and on the wrong side of town, outnumbered, in big trouble. Rolls up and a kick to the side of the head again. The amazing speed of the X-Clan. Black Sinister stalking Jim Dandy Deacons. This could be bad right here. Whoa! Sinister with the pin. 1, 2. Jim Dandy powering out, and Billy White Moon right there to make the save too. Black Sinister rounds up Jim Dandy Deacons again. Again whipped into the opposing team's corner, but he counters and escapes one more time. And once again, Black Sinister whipped to the opposing team's corner. And he's not getting out of it this time. He just caught a hard right. He's up on the middle rope, and he is headed for an express elevator ride to hell. 10-foot top rope superplex. And he caught every last bit of it. So did Jim Dandy Deacons, for that matter. Wow. Billy White Moon checking his tag team partner out. Deacons has him up. Black Sinister counters with a kick to the leg. A chop, a counter, and another counter. Here's Billy White Moon to step in and say, hey, excuse me. Oh, look at this. Whoa, nasty package suplex right there. And Jim Dandy Deacons doing a little showing off to the front row. There's a stomp to the chest of the Black Sinister. Sinister counters with another kick. Jim Dandy Deacons bringing back a drop kick that fails to connect. A hard right from Jim Dandy. Deacons has him up over the shoulder. And he's got bad intentions. Drops him head first against the ring steps. Oh my. A couple of quick jabs. A double chop. Black Sinister being battered against the barricade. Whipped towards the timekeeper's area. Jim Dandy Deacons stalking him. A big stomp to the chest with those cowboy boots. Rounds him up. Look at this quick counter from the Black Sinister. Jim Dandy Deacons trying to fight his way out, but no good. An elbow across the shoulder. Black Sinister tags him with a forearm. Jim Dandy Deacons quickly drives him into the apron. Drives him into the apron yet again. Black Sinister on Dream Street here. Into the ring post head first. And whoa my. Jim Dandy Deacons battering the Black Sinister against the apron over and over again. Just repetitively. Deacons making his way back in as the referee continues to count. The Black Sinister. And here's Jim Dandy Deacons tagging out, and here comes Billy White Moon. White Moon with a kick to the midsection of Black Sinister. Black Sinister counters, turns it into a dragon screw, takes down Billy White Moon, stomps to the midsection. White Moon counters with a kick to the head. And this match has been wild, crazy, and long. Hard kick to the back. Billy White Moon firing himself up into a move, and he needs to. We've got about 3 minutes left in this six-man tag. And nobody wants to see a time limit draw. Here's a submission. He is just bending the Black Sinister like a bow. Referee checking him, but Black Sinister finds his way out of the submission. Billy White Moon shoves him down to the mat. Rounds up Sinister again. Winds it up. There's that big punch from Billy White Moon. And here we go. All three members of Best of the West deciding to retaliate here on the Black Sinister with a triple powerbomb of their very own. And kapow, that is it. The Black Sinister is laid out. Billy White Moon going for the cover here. Jim Dandy takes down Mad Dog X. 1, 2, 3, and call this one done. Best of the West defeating their opponents by pinfall.
Here's the time, 17 minutes and 54 seconds, and your winners. Best of the West.
Man, it's like Best of the West specializes in nail-biter endings to their matches, and as far as six-man tag matches go, they can be really hit or miss, depending on who's competing, but whoa baby, this one damn sure didn't disappoint.
Nope.
Right on down to the wire, lots of back and forth action, with that triple power bomb, and White Moon nailing down the 3 count with just over 2 minutes left. Total thrill ride this one.
Thrill ride. That's a really nice way of putting it, Christy, and it definitely was. And look at that White Moon, goes for the pin. Mad Dog X got stopped cold, and that was it. What a 6-man tag.
And that is going to put a cap on this evening's edition of RWL Rage. As always, we thank all of you, our fans, guests, viewers, and subscribers, for joining us and letting us entertain you. Coming up next, immediately following this broadcast, will be the 419 edition of RWL Snarl with Tex Lynch, Wally Cardell, and Johnny Bianco, and I'm sure you're going to want to stick around for that one. For all of us here at RWL Rage, I've been Don Hickson, saying thank you, good night, and we'll see you next time at ringside. Good night, everybody.